I'm Stephen Blend, your host with White Labs and e-commerce marketing agencies. Today's guest, we have Cheryl. Cheryl, feel free to let our viewers know a little bit more about yourself and share a bit of your background.
Hey everybody, I'm Cheryl Capobianco. I am the owner of Tiki Hut Livin, which is a lifestyle brand company that I started about 5 years ago when I moved to Florida from Connecticut. And it all started with a skin condition that I had. I was diagnosed with melasma, which is a dermatological skin condition where my skin would pigment and I get like dark patches on my face. So it started way back when I was, having kids in my younger years. And so all through my life, my adult life, I was trying to find out how can I protect my skin so that this won't happen. Sun exposure made it worse, et cetera, et cetera. So fast forward many years, I was moving to Florida and I was really afraid that it would get worse and worse. I sought help with a plastic surgeon. I was able to get a laser procedure done to get rid of some of the pigmentation, but I was afraid it was going to come back, right? Because it's not guaranteed. So I developed a clothing line specifically really about hats and UPF scarves to cover your face. But fashionably, because nobody wants to go out looking like you're wrapped up like a mummy, right? So I designed this hat and it's called the Tiki Hat. And how I came up with the name of my company is when you see a tiki hut, it lets you know that you can go somewhere and be safe and in the shade, and you're usually in a tropical place. So that's good, right? So the Tiki Hat means that you're wearing a hat that you are completely covered with and you're not going to get sunburn. And so that was really important to me. So there are all these magnet attachments that are in the scarf, in the hem of the scarf, and also in the brim of the hat.
Awesome.
And so the Melanoma Foundation here in West Palm Beach has endorsed me for my products for sun safety, and they have me as a vendor, a recommended vendor on their website. In fact, they just had their big event. Their biggest fundraising event was at the Breakers in Palm Beach. So that was last week. But the exciting thing is that I have applied for a patent for my design, and the patent is in the stages of going through. So I received this like a couple weeks ago. So I was really excited. I'm like, is it done? Because it's been like 4 years of waiting and submitting more money and more money. But that's what that is. And so this is my other part of my, I don't know if you can see.
I can see it.
So this is a surf shirt that is UPF and it's stretched and it has my logo on it. My tagline for my company is Get Fun Done in the Sun, because you can do that with Tiki Hut Livin and all of the clothing and the scarves. You can go kayaking and boating and go to the beach and be outside and hiking and whatnot, and you will not get a sunburn. 2 years ago, I was on my honeymoon. We went to the Grand Canyon in Sedona, and it was very hot and very dry. And so this is another scarf that is part of my patent, and it is called the Tiki Cap. Instead of the Tiki Hat, this is the Tiki Cap. And this is a prototype. I have my finished product is coming out hopefully by the end of the month. So this is more of a recreational style setup so that you can jump in the water even, squeeze it out, put it back on, and keep going. So that it keeps you cool, it keeps you covered and protected. And you look good because, let's face it, when you're out on the water, you are you're like an ant under a microscope. I'm just going to say it. Because you have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to hide from the light, from the sun, from the reflection off the water. And so I'm really passionate about that. I'm going to put her down. And the other thing that I'm really passionate about is protective eyewear. Can you see my glasses over here?
I can see them. Yeah, I can see them.
So yeah, these are, something just fell. On my website, I have a number of different, it's Tiki Hut Livin, by the way. So I have a number of UV4 sunglasses that protect you from UV rays. Now, I was in ophthalmology for 30 years before I retired and started my company. But people don't realize that your eyes can get a sunburn, okay? And a windburn is just the top layer of your skin cells that are just blowing off and getting sloughed off when you're out like on a boat all day and you say, "Oh, I got a windburn." Well, that windburn can actually affect your eyes. So the layer of the cornea, it's an invisible layer to your eye, that can get a windburn so that you can actually damage the inside of your eye by being out in the sun and not being. So that's why I am super, passionate about telling people that you really need to wear the right kind of eye protection, not just for sun, but for sports. So I'm involved in pickleball, and that's a contact sport in the sense that there's a ball and a paddle, and people get whacked in the face and the ball whacks them in the eye and they can get terrible injuries. So that's a sports eyewear that is super important to protect your eyes. So that's really, Tiki Hut Livin is about protection, is about fashion, and it's about having fun. So get fun done in the sun with Tiki Hut Livin.
I love it. Who is your ideal target audience?
It is, well, for my hats, it's really women who are, maybe they've had a family member that have had skin cancer. Maybe they themselves have had skin cancer. It's also a good anti-aging practice to cover up your face in the bright sun, because wrinkles and sunspots and pigmentation happens with too much sun. So my ideal client would be an educated person that is wanting to protect their skin, their face, and then also people that are very active, people that like to be outside, water sports, hiking, just really, outdoor people that love the fresh air, and that's really my client base.
Awesome. Well, what makes you different, or is my favorite thing to say, better than your competitors?
Well, I would have to point to my patent, because this is a unique design that is not anywhere out there, right? So I researched, before I started the development of my designs, I researched it for years, because I was someone that was traveling. I was on a cruise, actually, that stopped in Key West. This was maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. And I got off the ship and I said, I've got to find something that's going to cover up my face, and so that I don't get a bad sunburn, or so that my melasma doesn't get worse. And I went into all these hat shops on the pier, and I was amazed that there was nothing that was going to meet my criteria. It was just, they had just hats. Okay. One of the things that's really cool about the Tiki Hat is that these magnetic attachments will hold on the hat to your head in high wind conditions. And so that's really important, because nobody wants to walk around holding their hand on their hat. They want to just relax and sightsee and whatnot. I took my hat to Ecuador. I went to the equator, and I went to the Galapagos and went hiking and all of that. And so I wore my hat every day, because let's face it, when you're on the equator, that's a good place where you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to get a sunburn. And I did not. I was totally protected and had a blast, by the way. But the hat it has the magnetic attachments. It will hold up in wind and keep you looking good.
Awesome. Is that your best-selling product, your Tiki Hat?
Yeah. And my sunglasses. I have a lot of following for my protective eyewear and my sunglasses. And actually, the cruise lines purchased a whole bunch of these for their elite cruising ships, the ones that are like the higher, not the family ones, but sort of the more elegant ships. They wanted the Tiki Hat in their gift shops for their, what do you call them, cruisers, right? People that go on cruises are cruisers.
Cruisers. So, I think they're called cruisers, I guess, right? Something.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So, but
are you in any retail beside, because your site Tiki Hut Livin, are you any retail besides cruises?
No, I have not. I don't have a brick and mortar store. Okay. I definitely didn't want the restraint of having to go into a store every day and work. I wanted to take advantage of online, and that way I can continue to travel and run my business from any location, really. I have a warehouse that will ship the hats to you in a moment's notice. So yeah, it works really well. So I just want to reach as many people as I can, because I feel that it's so important it's much easier to protect yourself from the beginning instead of trying to do damage control later.
100%.
And that's the same.
Awesome. No, my dad is 72, and he's had a lot of skin cancer. I think, I don't know, 7 spots or something, a lot of spots. So,
and the interesting thing is when I started working with the Melanoma Foundation, they actually educated me. They said that the majority of the sun damage that you have in your body is you're exposed in the first 18 years of your life. So as a kid, as a teenager, we think we're invincible. You run around and go to the beach and whatnot. Most of the damage comes to your skin during those years.
18 years. Okay.
Yeah, before the age of 18. So we try to get in touch with people they're younger, parents, to take care of their kids so that they don't grow up to have these terrible diagnoses of
The sunscreen wasn't even
melanoma.
invented till like the 70s, 80s, right? Is that correct?
I think that's right because, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. And back then, we did weird things. We put baby oil on our skin.
Yeah.
I think we wanted to just roast. And then if we put a little iodine in it, it tinted the skin like a orangey kind of color. Yeah, there wasn't anything. There was like, trying to think of the brand names back then. It was just all about getting a tan. It wasn't about protecting your skin.
Protection, yeah.
Big difference.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
What's your future plan with the brand besides the patent? What's your future plan?
Well, so there's 3 parts to my patent. One is the Tiki Hat, one is the Tiki Cap with the baseball cap, and the other is to wear the scarf underneath a bicycle helmet or a construction helmet. So those were the 3 sort of parts of the patent that I wanted to develop. So I've already gotten 1 done. 2 is coming shortly in the next month. And then with that will be to expand into the bicycling industry and the construction industry so that folks can wear something that looks pretty nice and that is easily washable and rinsable. We have, you live in Florida, so we have all these construction workers and landscapers out here. And they look like they're a bandit, right? They have like bandanas around them and camouflage looking things on them. But if you're going to be out there working on the roads in the heat and everything, it's really important to protect your skin. So I hope that I can reach as many people as I can that are in the sports and recreation lifestyle, that I can help with prevention of skin cancer and
any plans to get in the golf industry? I golf a lot, and I see some mummies on the golf course sometimes looking like mummies.
Yeah. Well, I'm a new golfer now, so
nice.
Yes, I want to get into the golf industry. As you know, with golf, everything is very, very high quality with their fabric, and it's very expensive. So I'm starting with the beach tiki cap with that fabric. It's more of like a bathing suit kind of fabric. And then I hope to expand into golf because my mom, she's 88. She still plays golf.
Wow.
But she has plenty of her friends that have stopped playing golf because of the exposure to sun. So,
no, 100%. I talk to a lot of people that they wear the sleeves now and everything. And, I 10 years ago, I would never even think about doing that. Now I see a lot of it. Now I'm like, all right, I'm getting a little older. I got to protect my skin.
And you're fair-skinned. You definitely are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's all, like I say, it's all about the protection on the front end because, like with eye injuries, I belong to a Facebook group called No Two Naked Eyeballs, which is kind of a fun little pun, but really it's about telling people that it's much easier to wear your eye protection and your sunglasses while you're playing rather than deal with what can happen if you get hit by the ball or another person's paddle. There was a pickleball player that posted something on our Facebook page, and she had what's called a hyphema, which is, blunt trauma to the eye where blood filled up in the area between the lens and the front of your eye so that she could not see. There was blood in there, and if you looked at her eye, it was all full of blood. And it's not guaranteed that you're going to get your vision back the way it was. So I always say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of whatever. I'm not sure how that goes, but much, much easier to just do it on the front end instead of doing damage control on the back end.
100%. Most of our viewers are entrepreneurs, e-commerce entrepreneurs. What are some successful activities you've done to promote the brand?
Well, I went to Ecuador and the Galapagos. I took some videos when I was at the equator, and that was really fun. I went hiking in the Grand Canyon and did some videos there. I did belong to a podcast that was happening in West Palm Beach, Beach a couple years ago, and it was the laws of sun-safe living, and I did that for a
Awesome.
while.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was really fun to, to be in a studio, where you're on camera and you've got the microphone and everything. I'd never done that before. That was really fun. But yeah, but I'm a one-woman show, as an entrepreneur. Yeah, I'm sure you can appreciate that. It's me. I've done the marketing, I've done the development, and the not so fun part of all the back end stuff that you do with a business, all your insurance and your accounting and all that stuff. But my most fun part is the creative part and the development. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. The marketing, not so much. That's a big undertaking
Yeah,
to
of
do
course.
marketing.
Well, Cheryl, is there anything that I haven't asked you about your brand that you want our viewers to know?
I would like them to know that, well, the Tiki Hat is it's in my store. It's for $100.
Okay.
And with Mother's Day coming up and the spring coming up and everything, I'm going to be offering my my customers a huge discount in the Tiki Hat. And so I would like them to go to tikihutlivin.com and let's put in spring fling as a
Spring fling.
discount code, and we'll give you 50 off the Tiki Hat.
Awesome.
So it's so 50 off of that. It's going to be a really nice chunk of savings. And this is a great gift. People sometimes they just don't know what to get their mom or their sister or their aunt or their wife. They just don't know. They're like, wow, she's got everything. Well, I guarantee she doesn't have a Tiki Hat. Okay, so go to Tiki Hut Livin, put in Spring Fling in the discount coupon code, and you'll get your Tiki Hat for 50% off. So
Awesome. Well,
yeah. Oh, and then the other thing,
spring.
the other thing is the Tiki Hat comes with 2 separate scarves so that you can take this off and wash it by hand. And then there's a solid beige color in this little box. And as you can see, these boxes here, it comes in a beautiful gift box. So if you're not sure what to get for someone, it will come shipped to you in this beautiful box. You don't have to wrap it or anything. It's got gold tone accents on it. It's really beautiful. And I think that whoever that special lady is in your life will definitely feel special with a Tiki Hat for their special gift.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Cheryl.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
You're welcome anytime. Thanks for having me.